Wow, had to get my cap on. Wrong cap, but hey, it doesn't matter. Wakey, wakey, everyone. Good morning. I took a look at my hair and I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Happy belated birthday to Katie. Hope you had a great one. I saw you were over at Risey's dive bar. Good to see you in a chat. Playing a lot of video games, she says. So good, good. Relax, especially after being, big trip to the States and back. I dropped the link to Fanta's one of her latest videos. I guess it was latest. I didn't check. Didn't take that close a look. Let's see. When was that? 9 hours ago. So one of her latest. Yeah. For Pencils Down, Justin Belmont's Pencils Down. Back in today, trying to get funded at $5,000. Less than, just a couple, $200-300 away. Less than $300 away. Pretty sure on that. A great Hump Day show, art and comics. His first live stream with Omer Garcia. He drew a character of Peter DeLucas, who is AKA Pad, Acapad, however you want to say that. Had 46 views on that. That was 6 hours ago. We went for almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 56 minutes and 23 seconds to be, somewhat precise. My favorite spinner rack covers. Oh, okay. That's a cool little thumbnail. I'm just looking here at, and I'll have to watch some of this. Live Avengers at Marvel HQ. I'm not even sure if I'm subscribed to them. Marvel Avengers Assemble full episode. See, I don't think I've seen most of those seasons 1 through 3. Wow. I've seen some. I'm not subscribed. I guess I'll subscribe. Guess I'll subscribe. They have 61 million subscribers. So, old Marvel cartoons that I haven't seen, have on disc. Why not? Not watching a lot right now. Passion of the Christ Resurrection first trailer, Jim Caviezel. Okay. That plays Christ again, recurring his right. This looks like a different trailer than the teaser trailer. I'll have to check that out later. Conversation with Mike Barron, John's Longbox, live in 35 hours. So Mike doing the rounds on the Sherlock Holmes Leviathan campaign. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. Come in. Better yet, sub to the channel. Leave a comment, negative or positive. It helps the algorithm of the one thing I like about streaming like this is where is my other cap? This is my Riceland cap. Big rice refinery around here. Was the largest in the world for several years, over a decade, probably over maybe a couple decades. Here in town, we had the largest rice refinery in the world. Now that is still in Arkansas, but it's down Stuttgart, about 4-hour drive away. That's about, maybe, if I remember right, a 20 or 30-minute drive. You've got to go through a lot of little smaller towns to get to Tucker, Arkansas. That's where one of the larger prisons is. A little caved in cap there. There we go. Get back on the screen. There we go. So I will definitely be taking a look at some of these things. But yeah, I mean, I got to give it to Mike. Mike's really making the rounds, and he probably does this with it seems like he's doing it more and more. Maybe a have to situation. Steve Rude's going to have a live demo. That's in 2 days. I miss most of Steve's stuff, to be honest, when he's live. I probably should, you know, uh, try and check that out and at least say hello in there. We've had Steve on here a couple times on the channel, and we interviewed him over on Apex Comics once. Nerd Bacon is today. Luke Stone's Nerd Bacon in 97 minutes. No one said hello. Hello, everyone. I will say, if I can spell it right. It's early. It's not even 6:30 here yet. I am Central Time. We will be over on Nerd Bacon is Luke Stone Studios. Looks like his thumbnail looks pretty funky. Looks like is it the guy from The Quickening? Beard and mustache, but his top of his head's made out of bacon. I don't know. It's pretty wild. SpongeBob SquarePants official. Wow, he's got an official channel. I guess everybody has an official channel. 50 kilogram giant dot cobra stingray fish recipe, cutting and cooking stingray. Wow. I guess you can find just about anything on YouTube nowadays. I went over there and I hit the like. Where is everybody today? And does it matter? I'm where I'm supposed to be. Trying to put up content on my channel via YouTube Studio. But just in a few days, we'll be back doing the 4 o'clock shadow. I probably buried my calendar because I've been doing some cleaning in here. I know it doesn't look like it, but I have. We jumped to a new calendar here after this month, as you well know, which will be kittens. Woo! I went really expensive on this. Look at that. About $1.25 at the dollar store. What's up with that? If there's one thing I want Trump to do, it's bring back the dollar comics. Or dollar comics would be good, but bring back the dollar stores. A lot of stuff written on this month, December. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It just is. If it looks like I woke up, I did. Woke up out of bed, thought up a great sequel, came up, it just comes into my mind, boom. Don't know why, but a sequel to sort of the entry of the Midnight character beyond the 2-page spread. Man, I mean, I've not been excited about developing any character like this in a while. She's unique for me. Western character. I think she's got a great look. Came up with her, I think, fairly early last year. I think about March of last year. I'll have to go back and look. 2023. Pretty soon next year will be 2024. Wow. Patrick Quinlan we will have on, and this will be over on Shadowhawk's channel. We're doing the 4 o'clock shadow over till Monday. So we'll be talking about he and Peter Gilmore. Don't know why I had Gillis in my mind, but Gilmore, he's drawing phenomenal Tales Minotaur over on Fun My Comic today. It looks like a fun read. It really does. I like the way Peter's drawn it. And then the next on this channel, we'll have Godfoe the next Saturdays. A lot of birthdays this month. I went through them before. I won't go through. Ending with the New Year's, which is Steve Rude's birthday. I won't bore you with all of those. My eldest adopted daughter, Rosie, it's her birthday on the 29th. I will say that. Um, almost died on that day. Turned over in a truck with 2,000 gallons of gas. Wow. One spark. Boom. Back in May 15th, 1990. Indelibly in my mind. No. It was on her birthday. It was December 29th. I'll tell you what happened on May 15th. I and my father-in-law were out fishing and we saw a UFO. 1990 was and that was the year I got married, unfortunately, to my first wife. I've had two. You got to have a rebound, I guess. Anyway, um, now I understand the easiest jokes in the world. The easiest jokes to tell are about your ex. It just is because it's an easy target, to make fun of an ex. People are posting some uh like ornaments, Christmas ornaments. There's a lot of Christmas stuff gonna hit here if it's not already. With this AI stuff coming in and then how people can be fooled and stuff. Uh New discovery suggests dinosaurs coexisted with early humans. I do believe that. But that cave painting of like the girl riding the raptor, yeah, that looks newly. But maybe I ought to watch that. I mean, 675,000 people views on this. It looks like Joe Rogan talking about it. I do believe we did exist with dinosaurs. Um, personally, that's just my own personal view. I don't think the Earth is as old as what they say. Who knows? It might be even older. I mean, there was stuff come before the Earth was habitable for sure. How long? How long can that take? Don't know. Here's a Jesus Son of God movie teaser trailer. Keanu Reeves. Wow. So maybe Keanu Reeves is playing Christ. That'd be wild. Oh, Gray Man's got a good one here. He's holding up Gulliver's Travels. That's from Marvel's classic comics. I've got a bunch of those in near mint condition from the mid 70s, early to mid 70s, and they're 52 no ads square bounds. Um, I call that the newsstand collection. Someone had a newsstand collection, and I bought all of those that they had. And I mean, because higher page count, square bounds like that. Um, it's not like first appearance of Punisher or anything like that you would desire, but it's good classic literature like um, Jekyll and Hyde, The Invisible Man, Gulliver's Travels, The Black Stallion, Moby Dick, stories like that. Even with Civil War stories, the Red Flag or Red something, can't remember. John's Long Box also will have a conversation with Doc Blaylock coming up in 11 hours. So talking to Mike Barron about Leviathan in a couple days today. He'll be talking um, to Doc and Doc Blaylock. And I'm going to say hi to John and Doc. Talking about a damn dirty thing. He's getting ever closer, just a few $100s of getting fully funded. They've got the animated Mr. Bean on there too. Uh, right now they've got an animated Mr. Bean marathon running. I had totally forgotten about Mr. Bean animated. Um, I'll go ahead and drop that link there in the chat for you. The first link, what was the first link I dropped? Can't remember. Mr. Bean loves pizza. I wonder if he eats pineapple on his pizza. Probably not. He's from England. Uh, did anybody get any great sales? Black. Is it Black? I guess it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all that. I didn't see anything. Of course, I only went to one store, and that was Walmart, and they didn't have anything marked down that I could see. Maybe they had already taken it up. I doubt it. John's long box smashing it up. It's clobbering time, Mr. Fantastic versus Plastic Man. Do you like that? I don't it's like uh I'm gonna say Plastic Man for the win. He was the original stretch. Well, one of the original stretchy can um originals. Clint Eastwood marathon going on. Dirty Harry, Kelly's Heroes, Unforgiven, and more. That's the Warner Brothers classics. I don't know that I'm subscribed to that. I probably should subscribe. Okay, I'll subscribe. I don't know. Should you subscribe to these corporate things? I subscribe to Shout, and they have several YouTube things where they show like Shout. It's got here Shout Lo-Fi. I don't know what that is, but it's from Shout Studios. They got The Dead Don't Hurt. Um, I guess maybe it's B like things, but I'm interested in The Dead Don't Hurt. That's a western. Um, I forget what that actor's does. There's a Garfield and Friends Merry Christmas holiday specials on. That's Garfield and Friends. He's got his own. More Kitty's got, second try at Raccoon Party. He's got a camera up in the attic. Boy, I could tell. I would, I could put a camera up my attic right now and you'd be seeing some critters. It might be shocking what you see because there's critters up my attic. She's been kind of just showing a static attic, and I don't know that it's just static cam, and people are coming in and kind of viewing to see if they see a raccoon because apparently a raccoon's gotten up in there somehow. Uh, but first time was not a take, so she's doing another. I guess it comes and goes. It gets cold enough, she'll get up in there. I'm not sure where more Kitty's from. What state she's in. It's even cold in Florida, I heard from SCTV Christmas. Maybe I need to watch that. That would the Christmas special. Of course, SCTV. That's Walkabout Willie that does that. I'll click on it so that it's in my history. Maybe I'll watch an SCTV. I loved SCTV with John Candy and Rick Moranis and all the other comedians. That and Fridays, and you may not remember Fridays. That had like the actor that played Kramer. Uh, in Seinfeld. Planet of the Apes, 1968. Okay, that's always a good watch. Up, you damn dirty apes. That's not what he says, but you can watch the Star Wars holiday special in upscaled 5K. I don't know why you'd want to. I actually have that on my history. I started to watch it and it's like, I ain't got time to watch this. Although I just really wanted to watch the animated bits, not the dance routines or the little segues, with Chewie and although they're neat to watch. Um, they can always de-age these actors. Old man and old man draws and talks, break down those walls. Gargoyles. That's Jason Bascom. He did that in 9 days ago. Missed that one. V for Vendetta, a superb film and a cautionary tale. Yes, indeed. Not a bad movie. I think I watched it a few months back. Oh, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, it's going to be in Mary. We played the trailer on the 4 o'clock shadow one day. Um, Anthony Hopkins is in a new Netflix thing called Mary, which is a biblical. I guess they're. I'm not sure when that drops. Does it say 2000? Yeah, 2025. So it's not really a. I don't think it's a Christmas type thing. Probably Easter. Probably going to be Easter. Where did peasants sleep when on a journey? I mean, I swear you can get a PhD off YouTube if you're just diligent enough. 5 comic book costumes so dumb they will make you cry. There are some dumb costumes out there. And I guarantee you that goes back to the campy era. Now, there's not to mean that there's not some, very campy like um costumes that have been created, you know, fairly recently, but there were some very campy, especially like Batman villains and things like that. There's been some really, really wackadoo out there. Um, the first Hot Wheels Camaro custom restoration to factory condition. I like to watch those actually. This is from Paul the Restorer. I actually was on a bent. This is a 1969 model. There's only, I want to say, 8 cars in that were released originally in the Hot Wheels 68. Here's a Corgi restoration Batman bat mobile. I've got my Corgi Batmobile and some larger models, but I have one vintage Batmobile, thankfully, still in pretty nice shape. But they made so many. They made the Batmobile model from like 1966 when TV all the way up to the sort of mid 80s or early 80s. Um, so there's diecast graveyard, also little restoration Hot Wheels 36 Ford Coupe restoration. I like the vintage, you know, uh, thing. Here's bare metal. The one that I used to watch, he was very good at restoring those things. I could see, and maybe it's the same technique with every restorer. I got to think that there's different ways that, different methods that people use. Um, but same result. They, get. You can order different parts if it needs replacement parts, or you can take other, trashed out cars and steal parts off of those that will work on other models as well. And restored, it's going to be restored, but yeah, here's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang restoration. That would be cool to see that. Um, there was one restorer that got me on that I first saw, and I was watching it for, few weeks, and then you go on to something else. But I really like to watch to see how they drill out the little screw that holds the bottom on, that holds the whole thing together, take it apart. Of course, once you take it apart, different parts, different models have different parts. But I guess if you're experienced enough, you can, um, you know, do it quite easily. Here's Leo Campos. He does restoration. Here's the Gargoyles Den diecast. So a lot of diecast channels out there if you want, and some do restorations. Some just talk diecast. Hot Wheels or Matchbox is bought out by Hot Wheels. And matching the paint, you got to match the paint, right? Or sometimes I guess you could change the. Did I just freeze with my mouth open when I kind of jumped back from what I was looking at to the stream? It was like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Rex. How are you today?" I'm just trying to have a cup of coffee and a conversation. And nobody's coming in here and even saying hi. But I know we've got some watchers. And as soon as I say that, Gable Penny Shot says Morning Rex and makes me into a little late on the message, I guess. Had I said it a minute or even a few seconds earlier. But very interesting stuff that you can find on. Of course, they try and tailor make it to what you like and stuff. I've got a bunch of diecasts that I've got to do with, thousands of diecasts. I might even have some pictures somewhere of I when before I moved into this house, I lived in a old building built in the late 1800s. In the back, they had kind of added on the back, and it was probably completed around 1912. And to show you how far back this was, it was 2012. I was still living there because I remember the back section turning 100 while I lived there. I lived there for 8 years before I moved into this house, and it had 18-foot ceiling downstairs. Think about that, 18-foot. 18-foot tall ceiling, and then the upper level, my and very interesting to see, like, didn't go up all 18 feet, but I went up with nothing but a wall of die cast, and I had Pez and was doing the eBay thing, and that's how I was, along with a local job. And I'm not sure what jobs I had during that time. I think maybe at that time I was working at I want to say the Christian bookstore, but maybe not. I think it was like 2014 when I started my current job, which I've worked there 12 years, 12 complete seasons. So count back. What would that be? Maybe even earlier than that. 2012. Come on, mathematicians. Of course, it's too early in the morning. 6:45 here on the dot. Ever moving forward, though. Is there any one thing you want to see Trump do? I say go for it. I say go for it. Don't get distracted and don't let them distract you. I really don't know to this extent. Didn't vote in the special election. Remembered it. All I knew is that we had a mayor runoff. Really didn't know the guy that I voted for. He was on city council. The guy that's the mayor now, I don't know that he's done a good job. I from a coworker that knows him. Um, he's Democratic leaning, and I say vote them all out. If Trump ends the federal income tax, I will go full Trump tard. Yeah. Um, yeah, or put in a, you know, you'd have to put in a 6 cents tax now. At one time, what Sean Hannity was advocating was a penny tax, and within 6 years, we would balance the budget. Too bad we can't resurrect and this is a sore point, especially for some Native American Indians, but the seventh president, Andrew Jackson, he actually was the only president that really balanced the budget. Now, don't throw the Bill Clinton bullshit up into my mind, okay? Because he he sold us all down the pie cart. That's why Social Security is, look at the government numbers, not what everybody says, because the government numbers is there, and they can still fudge on that, and I'm sure they do. Yeah, income tax, definitely. I think he's thinking out of the box this time. You know, I think in a way it was probably a good thing for the country because that there wasn't that he is kind of like Grover Cleveland and having Cleveland and having a non-sequential presidency, you know, 4 years of this crap that we've had. And now I think he's really ramped up to make a bigger difference had he just slid in for another 4 years. I think it would have been great for the country, but in a way, affecting lasting change. We'll see if he can do it, if that's even on the agenda. We'll see in 4 years. We'll just see. What's I I got to believe the state of the country's got to be a lot better because they're still trying to inhibit the next president coming in and his agenda, as they're going to. And the Democratic Party just needs to be dismantled, or but I mean, there's no going back from crazy. There's just not. These people get beat so badly, and they're still going at it. So, and it may take them a while. It may take them a while to get on with it and move on. Here's a 68 Camaro junker in a stunning custom Hot Wheels. Yeah, maybe just for parts, I mean, people that are really into die cast, if I had the equipment and stuff, that would be pretty cool, restoring older toys to their former glory, because they are neat models. When I say collecting uh, die cast, um, I say collect the models that actually existed, like Camaros, Stingrays, things like that, not like the original wacky models. And some of them are neat. Some of them are real neat, but if they didn't exist, if they're not a classic car, they don't sell as well. That's my personal opinion. Mini Coopers, there was a Mini Cooper I really couldn't. There was a time I couldn't keep in Mini Coopers. I was on the hunt for Mini Coopers. There's certain models that are hot and certain models that are hot in different regions of the world. Um, Land Rovers are very big in some Asian country. I can't even remember where I was. I want to say Madagascar, but that's not an Asian country. And I don't think it was Madagascar. I don't know where Madagascar is. It's a big island off of Africa near the Indian Ocean. I hope. Um, but they must manufacture Land Rovers, and some of them, might pay 50, $60 for a particular color. I've been holding on to some still in the package. I sold most of mine. Um, I know I've got some gold models. I've got some light sort of baby blue with white top models that I just haven't sold. And right now, it doesn't really pay to deal in pairs, die cast, stuff like that, unless you do it in bulk because of the shipping rates. Shipping rates have gotten outrageous on small stuff. One of the best things when I started putting up the production artwork that I was fortunate enough to buy from a couple of different sources. Um, and I still have a bunch of it. And there's some of it around here I can't even find. a bunch of old classic 60s Marvel covers. I misplaced a old Batman cover from the 50s, but that's from the foreign market, so that cover would have never been seen in America. I've got a bunch of plates from Brazil that I bought, and I call that my Brazilian collection. And all that through eBay. It's amazing what you can find on eBay. Um, you know, this being one thing that was bought off eBay, the actual color guide to Avengers #4. That was an eBay purchase that Elsie purchased and actually put back up for sale. And I said, "Are you crazy? If I had that, I would never sell it." So he took it off eBay and gave it to me. And that's how I wound up to it. Thank you, Elsie. Because I'm a big Avengers fan, Um, one of the best gifts he ever gave me, one of a kind item. And I've just got it sitting around here. The thing needs to be in a museum. I've actually sold a lot of production artwork to museums. It's about time for my regular person to come around that comes around about once a month now. He's retired now, not buying that stuff. I think he is just kind of contributing as he will to, um, you know, Ferraris are really popular. I've got a bunch of Ferraris I bought a big lot, and this was before the shipping got too outrageous. So I'm kind of glad what I've got. I think it was Ferraris. I bought them for $1 a piece, which was kind of expensive, but not really. They were older models. They were loose, but they were pretty good shape, and a variety. It was like a collection because those tend to sell for some higher. And I'm sure that now that I've held on to them and never did actually get them up to sale, I could probably more than make my I think it was about 70 or 80 of them. So I spent about $70, $80 or something. I'm sure I could probably maybe get with shipping put on there. Wow, maybe 300 out of them. I don't know. I need to find them and see if I can. But I'm not really messing with. It was the production artwork that really made a difference. If you're on eBay, you got to have a higher. You got to have something, especially now that shipping's so high. It can't be the small stuff. It needs to be a larger item. Now, if you've got uh, a Pez that's really rare, that's got a lot of value to it, a few $100s, or comics, when I get my Harley Quinn in, I'll put it up for sale. Can't wait to get it back sometime around probably early February, maybe sooner, maybe latter part of January. It was sent off at the end of October to CBCS. I will never send anything to CGC. Probably get a higher price for it if it was CGC graded, but I don't care. It's subjective anyway. I don't really believe in slabbing except for preservation. Um, if it's a rare book that's not been reprinted, I'd hate to see it slabbed. If it's been like you're anti-slabbing, I for the most part am too, but now I have some slabs. Not a lot of them, maybe a whole box full, but those slabs take up room in I've got some older slabs, because if you deal on eBay, like I said, I bought a slab book for $6.50, CGC graded. I think it might have been about a 6.5. It was a Marvel Superheroes. It was number 17 that I think had Black Knight. It was before 18, the first appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy, which was 68, maybe 67 when that book came out. I can't remember. That one's definitely worth something nowadays. First appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was worth something before the movies came out. The movies enhance your collection and should. you can definitely, like I said, you can definitely flip books. You can definitely flip slab books. Uh, I watched a YouTube video. Look up, you know, some people who have slab stuff and how they did it. There's a video I know. I'm sure it's still up. Probably very popular. A lot of people have seen it. Maybe you've seen it, just in passing. Um, but he would buy 4 slab books. Okay, he anteed up enough money to get 4 nice slab books, and then he just snowballed it. He would sell 3 and keep 1. With the profit, he would keep 1 and reinvest and buy 4 more. Then he would take another one, and he probably had some starter up money. But you can start something on a smaller scale, especially if you know what you're doing, your hobby. Same thing in coins or cards or anything. But you also have to look at trends, what's hot, what's not. What's hot today may not be hot tomorrow. Um, I've got a 9.2 that I bought that's CGC slabbed. And again, I don't like CGC slabbing, but it was at the right price. It's a Robin book. I don't see it back there. It's probably covered up by another book. Um, and it may be in a box. I've tried to take all my slab books. There's a few up there. Um, there's Terrifics #1. That's a 9.8. Terrifics. I don't know if they're still doing the Terrifics that had Plastic Man in it. Mr. Terrific and the Phantom Girl character. That was kind of like a riff on the Phantom Girl from Legion of Superheroes. And then what was the 4th character? Doesn't matter. And actually, I bought that one um, because the label intrigued me, and it was a good deal. I thought it would be a good investment. I think the Terrifics had a pretty good run. I think it's probably ended now, but I've got a Daredevil there that's not very. I think it's like a 5.0 maybe. Um, Nothing special. It was just at a good deal, and it might have been that was my first CBCS book. I've got another CBCS book there. It was intriguing because it's a DC book, but it's the Tom King written, and that was before he fell out of favor. Um, it's Tom King Swamp Thing special, which has in the back of it Wolverine and who's the other character? Um, it's got 2 Marvel characters that Lin Win when he passed away. And so as a tribute, it's got like a picture or something of Wolverine and another character that he did wrote. That's Marvel character. So that's kind of odd. And it's like a 9.8 and signed by Tom King. I paid about $50 for it. I just think and I've got one in the raw, I think, of that. I think I bought 2 copies at the time. I still think that's a good investment just because you don't see a lot of, ever really. You don't see unless it's an amalgamated type thing. You never see the DC characters pictured in Marvel books, and you don't see Marvel picture unless it is sort of a tribute type thing like that. I know Batman, or it was maybe Detective Comics 600. I can't remember which title. I think maybe Detective 600 when it might have been Batman though. 50-50 chance, It's one of those books, okay? 600. I'd have to look it up on eBay real quick, see the cover. Had a letter of sort of congratulations for the title hitting 600 issues by Stan Lee. But that's about as close to Marvel as you get, is a letter written from the competition, Tom King's Batman run should have been ended halfway through. He ruined the wedding. Yeah. Yeah, that was the wedding to Catwoman, wasn't it? That he didn't marry. Went on a little too long with it, eh? Yep. And the only reason I know about that is my friend John Fernandez, who drew the Devil Flyer story and other stuff. He told me about the wedding. I didn't even know what was going on. Not really. I don't keep up with, all I see when I go to my local comic book shop, and maybe it's a good thing that they're kind of showcasing this stuff and buying a lot of it and reordering a lot of it because it's selling. That's the way you're going to, I'll give it to this guy that owns my local this one comic book shop. And I think it's probably the best out of the two. The other one's older by several years, but I don't think it does near the business as this other one. He's got some business savvy to him. He buys in bulk supply. I went recently, the last time I was in, and I got checked to see if there was a Spawn issue, a new one. I think there was one. I don't even think I picked it up. I said, just keep it in my file. I'm not ready to pick it up yet. Um, I might have got it. I can't remember, but um, I got some Golden Age. I had some Golden Age bags left over from shipping out the ash can. I used those to sort of waterproof the book when I sent it out, and I had 14 left. I didn't even count them. I said, just give me 50. She came out with 100, and I said, don't you have 50? Because I bought them in 50 before. She had wrapped up 50. I like going to a comic book store that um, keeps supply in. That's a big thing with me. And there was another guy, he kept supplying, but he was outrageous on the price. And it's like, no. And he's out of business now. Screw him. When I went in, I should have said this. When I first went in there, we were on a good basis, and I got out of that store what I wanted. It was buying some new recent stuff. But he just was. I said, as long as you keep in supplies, I'll keep coming by. I bought some boxes and stuff that were cheaper. The white boxes, of course, they always try and push the higher price printed boxes and stuff. I've got some of those. I bought most of them on discount, if not all of them, when uh, I'm thinking in my mind Hardee's. That's an eating place. That's not a what was the place called? It was the giant. It was the giant retailer that went out that everybody says, "Oh, we never had one of those." And it's like that's sad because they were the largest retail distributor of like pop culture and comic stuff till they went out of business a few years back. And I'm gonna say around 2015 they went out, probably during the Obama years. Thank you, Obama. Um, King says DC editorial made him ruin the wedding and it ended up doing some Batman Catwoman issues a year or two later where they did get married. Too late, Tom. Yeah. One comic book store near me only has one short box and back issues. I have no idea how they're still in business. I only go to stores that have oldies. Yeah, I mean, you got to have, if you're going to have a comic book store, you've got to have a good back issue selection. You know, I found some of my greatest finds. Man, I'm trying to think. Hastings. Hastings. I was thinking Hardee's. Maybe I'm wanting breakfast. I did some more of those onion rings, by the way, yesterday. That's about all I ate was peanut butter and onion rings. Not together, separate. That'd be a weird combo. Breaded them up and fried them up and good onion ring. I'm always looking for a better onion ring. Use the Zatarain's batter. Very cool. Um, so yeah, my cholesterol, but I got a pill for that too. I only take, blood pressure pill, and she gave me some, um, um, you know, she says my cholesterol's a little high, and I'm still on the first subscription um, she gave me, which is a lower dosage. The last time she upped the dosage by like 5 milligram, and I take it so infrequently. But now when I eat some fried foods like I've done, I'll probably go in there later and take one. They say take before night. I don't know why, but maybe it works better if you're more inactive. But um, it's not that strong, and I don't think it's out of there is good cholesterol. Uh, Not all cholesterol is bad. But I've got a few slab books. There's a Is that one slabbed? Yeah, I think that one's slabbed. That's a 20 center sword and sorcery. That's got an early skull cover done by Walt Simonson. You couldn't tell it by the artwork. His early stuff. Early around 72, I think. So I've got a few in here. I've got nearly a full CGC or slab box, which are probably a little larger than even magazine boxes. Um, but you definitely need to keep in supplies. There was one place that they had a bunch of supplies. I mean, had it stacked up. The bundles of backing boards stacked up like a pyramid. But they're out of business. That was over in Jackson where Elsie lived. But you know, when he would come in, he's like down here doing his thing, would never really interact with you. He's some little Asian guy. Um, I think he moved it and combined with somebody else, and then eventually went away with it. You've got to have a good rapport. He gets freebies. I know it doesn't cost you anything, and that's his prerogative. But I mean, he made it a count. Here I'm going in there, and I've never been in there. He didn't care that I was in there spending $200-300. Never been in there before. Was after certain things, you know, and just shopping to see what he had that I couldn't get around locally. So I got some supplies, and I got a giant Fantastic Four, Alex Ross. Um, well, it's not by Alex Ross. I don't think it's by Sadam that did the Marvel Zombies, but it was an homage to Fantastic Four #1 poster, and it was in this giant um, top loader for a poster. Never seen a top loader for a poster. So I bought it, of course, because it's Fantastic Four #1 homage cover. It looks cool with the giant skull, you know, carrot bursting up out of the ground. Pretty much cleaned out the places near me. Doesn't that suck? Uh, of late 80s, because you like to go in person and you like to find that stuff in person. You like to get a good read for like Hastings had some of their had such back issue glut. When they went out of business, they had a lot of comics. It took a whole month, over a month, to liquidate it all. And I really got some great Hastings variants. They were retail and had, exclusive Hastings variant covers that you could buy. Um, and you like to find that 50. I mean, they would have quarters. I've got some of my independents, like issues of the boys. I didn't know what the boys were, but for 50 cents or a quarter, I'll buy it. Art looks pretty good. I knew it was kind of a violent parody on. I've got maybe some valuable boys issues. I mean, not too valuable. I think they were starting to, you know, get there. But um, now since I bought them, they probably acquired some value. Um, they're not going to be like the earliest of earliest issues. Buying some surplus from a place is a good way to get comics, that might be valuable one day. I bought a bunch of like Ethan Van Sciver Flash and things like that when he was still working for DC. And I was just buying, like filling up a long box for like $50. Um, and one of those books I got was, and that was popular at the time, but we didn't know how popular it was going to become, The Walking Dead. So I've got a near mint Walking Dead issue 8 that I've never cracked open and read. Just boarded and bagged it and kept it in great shape. That's one that is on my short list to have slabbed and just flip. You know. Good morning, Caleb. Uh, Pretty much cleaned out the places near me to the late 80s, near 90s DC Marvel that I collect. One of my local stores do buy collections, so I keep hoping for more. Yeah. Um, yeah, and there's something about, like I say, about being there in person and sort of eureka discovering it. When I first learned about the DC Universe barcode, you know, I would see on eBay higher prices for some of those and go, why? Why? That's crazy. But then I watched something on YouTube, probably from Comic Tom. He's got a couple out there on that. I've done an early show on it. The DC Universe logo is one of the rarest, probably lowest print DC books out there. Like The Wedding of Superman. That one's kind of a common. They kind of got uncommons and they got rare. And then they got ultra rare ones that were printed, but there's one issue that was printed that they know was printed, but one's never showed up. I went to that local comic book store that I was and I found 43 of them and bought a nice collection of lower print DC books, multiples. If they had 2 of them, 3 of them, I grabbed them. Like Mystic 15, great find if you can find it. That was pre Aaron Lopresti. Aaron Lopresti came on that run toward the end, like the last 10 issues or so, 15 issues of Mystic. Good run, ran for 43 issues. He did the very last issue, did the covers. I think maybe some interiors to Mystic too for Cross Gen Comics. But 15 is an unofficial, and the only she wanted to keep Harry Potter out of comics. It's not only got a riff, but like the magical characters like Doctor Strange. You got, they're in a bar scene, and there's a sort of cameo of what Harry Potter is. So it's like an unofficial, the only appearance of Harry Potter, and probably the only one that will be, unless they just go for the money and actually get it into. Uh, is the writer dead now to Harry Potter? I think she is, isn't she? So it might make it into comics, but she was adamant about. I don't know why. It had been a bestseller, but I guess she just wanted to be looked at as a writer, as a legitimate writer. If you do comics, I think there's still the stigma, kind of like Stan Lee told that story all the time. You know, I went to parties and said, I'm a writer. Oh, what do you write? And he kind of danced around it. And then when he said comics, they were like, okay, yeah, I'll go to talk to somebody else over here. I think that stigma's still there, you know, for a lot of people. Harry Potter comics might have really helped the industry. Yeah, that's sad that she didn't do that. But Mystic 15, I went to my local comic book shop, told Elsie, he took 2, I took 2 comics. He sold his 2. He sold his 2 for like nearly $40 a piece, I think. I've still got my 2. If I'd shut my mouth and just grabbed all 4, but see, I'm not that way. Anybody that gives you a color guide to Fantastic Four Avengers #4, kind of help out. I've tried to teach him through the years. He's a good student, and she's not dead, but she's anti-trans, so she's really hated. Yeah, okay, that's what it was. And I know Anne Rice passed away. Maybe I was thinking of Anne Rice, but Is she still writing Harry Potter? I don't know. I've watched maybe the original Harry Potter once. I haven't watched the whole thing, and I've had a chance to buy all the movies in one before, and just yeah, there's other stuff I'm interested in more. You know, I did buy that Lightning character. You know what I'm talking about? They made a couple movies with that character that was kind of like Harry Potter esque. Can't remember his name. Maybe somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. Lightning something. Had lightning powers, I think. Something, I don't know, maybe from Zeus. I don't think she's writing Harry Potter, but she's producing the new Harry Potter TV show coming out. Who's going to do that? Is that Netflix? Yeah, Percy Jackson. There you go. Percy Jackson. You're on it, Cable. I know you. I knew you'd know. Hello, Abigail. So I'd probably need to fit this in. This is an unused bod cover that I drudged up. You know, you've seen this before. Lots of Kirby crackle going on. That might make it into the bog supplement. Why not? Got a great intro for really giving some thought to commissioning Jay Kreger to do a midnight story beyond the 2-page thing. A good intro for the character. You know, maybe him draw the first short story. I mean, there's no rush on that, but I'd like to discuss it with him. And that ain't going to be cheap, even paying him digital rate, you know, not anything traditionally done. Great cover. Yeah. Thank you. HBox Max is doing okay. You think? Yeah, I just don't keep up with Harry Potter. If you enjoy it, great. I've just never really gotten into Harry Potter. That come a little late for me. Um, and if I sit down and watch them, I'd probably really enjoy them. But it's maybe, especially since some of the classic actors that played in Harry Potter are dead now. You know, I like watching, you know, classic actors aren't. Have you ever thought about this? Most of what we watch, we're entertained by the dead. You watch an old James Cagney and James who? Or Harpo Marx or, you know, Charlie Chaplin, Bud Abbott. I'm going way back now, but I mean, Cary Grant. If you're still saying who, you're still new. Your expiration date isn't even stamped on your bum yet. Um, you know, like Lee Marvin or John Wayne. Um, you know, most of the actors are dead. Um, May, this blew my mind. I saw this on I think it was YouTube. It was on X. Um, the actress that played Dorothy from behind, she's the one that's in the sepia tone in Wizard of Oz. She's still alive. Last May she turned 105. She was the double for Dorothy in that movie. She's still alive. Probably the only living member. I can't say that for certainty. I know some Munchkins were still alive in the 80s, 90s, whatever, maybe even up into some of the 2000s, the Munchkins, but which is incredible by itself. It's kind of nice that they got a little recognition before they passed away. But yeah, most entertainment. Watch a James Cagney flick or a movie from a TikTok star. Tough choice. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what you're missing. There's so much. There's such a classic. You know, really, Marvel and DC bring it back around, do a Jinsaki and circle it back to comics. They should be on cruise control. 5 years ago, they should be on cruise control when they were hitting Batman, you know, Detective Comics and all that 85th year and stuff. That's when they started really. That kind of coincided with, and I know because that stuck in my mind. It was like they were hitting like 85 years with some of this stuff, And so I guess that was around, um, let's see, Batman in Detective Comics 27 came out in early 40s. So I guess that's been about 3 or 4 years ago, that they, or maybe later, um, started going off the rails, you know, about the time that they were hitting 85 years with some of this stuff and having some anniversaries. And I'm like, why are they self-destructing, and they could set it on cruise control and just kind of like glide, to prosperity and capitalize on all that archive that they have. Kind of like Turner Classic Movies, you know. He was very smart to buy all the archives. Colorization, he was a little bit, in the 80s, horrific. Innovative, I mean, he might have pushed the boundary up to where colorization now, the palette, is so much better than that early. He got such negative reviews on that in the late 80s, and for some of the stuff that he colorized to make it palatable for some people. That's like, ooh, black and white, what's this? Black and white is great, folks, in comics and in movies, especially like noir stuff. You classic movie buffs out there know this, and I don't have to tell you. Inko's great in black and white. Never colorize him. Here's a character who never needs to be colorized. He looks great in grayscale and black and white. If he didn't have the mustache and specs, just like sore point. Uh, but yeah, I mean, characters like Batman, that's been right there over my shoulder. That's been, or maybe right there. I've got some Batman. Um, got a little bit of everything. That's my problem. I like everything. Um, but now my real jam is really the obscure independent stuff, and has been for a while. Um, I like the rarity of it, and some of it is ultra rare. Um, and some of the rarest stuff I've gotten is by people that buy in bulk. They're the big gobble machine, and they put this stuff up. The thing of it is, they make it available. And sometimes even when you buy it from them, they say, we can't find it. There's one book that is so rare in my collection. It's called Skyhopper. Guarantee you never seen this book except on this channel. It's sort of a superhero type book. Never even opened it and read it. I need to. I saw it. I bought it from Mile High Comics. They buy these big, massive collections in the millions. I guarantee you, as comic store, Chuck Rosansky got the wheel rolling and really helped facilitate the hobby, through mail order and stuff, along with Bud Root and some others, early on, and then finding some great, the Mile High Collection 2, and things like that. But other than that, I'm sure he's been gobbling up collections, as your average comic book store lasts about 2 years, and then it goes out of business. Those comics have to go somewhere. Sometimes they go in storage, like my newsstand collection, you know. I was buying those a few years ago, and they'd been in storage since the 70s. Hence, they look brand new. They were stored properly. They look like near mint copies of Bronze Age books. Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that big time. You know, unfortunately, like always, I never have enough money. Otherwise, I just now. I don't know. Maybe I was in a good place. Maybe I was just putting every cent I had to it. When the Roger Stern collection came up, I call that the Roger Stern collection. Um, and I've showed those on here before. Those were comics that came out of Roger Stern's own collection. I bought about half the books. The rest of the books were like, I got the cream. I got what I could, and I got the cream de la creme of the collection. There was only one book, an early Iron Man, that I was outbid on, that I would have liked to have had. Uh, I got his vintage 50s stuff, and we're only talking a handful of books. Most of the books were from the 80s. books that I've had, but were destroyed by fire. And they're complimentary copies. They're nothing. They're to him to get rid of, but they came with each one has a signed certificate with his signature on it. Roger Stern being a writer for Marvel. I don't know if he's ever wrote for DC, but big writer, long term writer. And I have a few examples from other famous peoples like Mike Royer that used to ink a lot of Jack Kirby stuff at Marvel and DC. I've got one book of his which has like the Herculoids and Space Ghost and Young Samson, so 60s, old 60s. Well, no, actually it's a Bronze Age book because in the middle of the Bronze Age, they started Hanna-Barbera kind of brought back some of those characters that was used to be in the cartoons for a very short time into the comics for the very first time. And I'm glad to see, that's one thing I'm glad to see DC do is bring in like Johnny Quest and Banana Splits, and some of it gets wild. Scooby Doo and a lot of these Barbera type thing, Might Tor and Dino Boy, and all these old cartoon characters into the comics, sometimes for the very first time. And they started doing that about a decade ago. And I missed a lot of that stuff. They had the Future Quest. I picked up a few of that. Elsie's got a Future Quest poster. I wish I had that. It's a great looking poster. Love me some old, Hanna-Barbera stuff. But yeah, I got a great intro came to me today about midnight. And even, in the drawn in tier. Like if Shadowhawk, and I imagine probably after the first of this year, if I still have the that he'll probably become a permanent character. I'm going to use people's real name to spell out in appearances, their appearance in the story to spell her name, Midnight. If you know Shadowhawk's real name, it starts with an M. So he'll probably be the first character shown in the saloon, to spell out midnight. It'll be one of those cinematic, it might take, I don't know how many pages, depends on the artist, how good he is on condensing and, but it'll be cutaway. It'll be cut to this, cut to that, cut to this, cut to that, cut to different people, the different drawn in people. Is the Shadowhawk character part of the Momentum verse? No, not yet. Lack and Crooked Painter are the two that have backed the drawn in tier. If you want to be a permanent member of the Momentum universe, back that at $175, which I think is a steal, and you will get a whole chapter written about your character. And I'm thinking at the end of the pulp, I'll probably gather the roustabouts up into a group. So you could be a roustabout. No promises on that, but you will definitely get a whole chapter devoted to your character. Like I know what Lack is going to be. He's going to be like an Indian. He's going to be like a scout. I don't know if they called them Indian scouts unless they were an Indian. But anyway, he's going to be like a scout, a tracker, maybe an ex-bounty hunter. I don't know. Maybe an ex-lawman at one time. I mean, we'll flesh that out, Great thing is he kind of wears Western wear anyway. I said, do you want a hat on the sort of cameo 2-page spread? And he's got a Billy Jack hat. So I don't know what era. I mean, Hoss from Bonanza had one of those big rounded hats. Or whatever the non-copyrighted Shadowhawk character will be called. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you could call him Shadow Hawk if you made him like an Indian name. I think if you made it sort of a historical name or something, I think you could get away with that if it was non-superhero. Shadow Hawk. Maybe not. Have to check into that. But that's just the pseudonym for his real name. I mean, it's not like Rex Christian. He has a real name. And his real name starts with an M. That's all I'll say. And a lot of people know that. No spoilers here. Um, he's got a great first name, a great Western first name. Hint, hint. Um, but could be Midnight. And then maybe somebody with I in their first name, or, a G or H or T, you know, that's a lot, to spell out midnight, but it would be great. And then that would be like, I'd tell you the ideal, but I don't want to spoil it, and it'll take a good artist like Jay Krager to pull it off. So I'm thinking about commissioning him next year, nothing new. Cause I can't wait to get to a midnight. And this isn't jump on the bandwagon. We kind of discussed that. We were kind of joking around about that. Jimmy Palmiotti sort of doing a Western after seeing some Westerns do well. I don't know his motivation. He did Jonah Hex. He did a lot of Jonah Hex. So for me, as a Southerner with Southern speak and slang and stuff that I can work into dialogue, a Western's kind of a no-brainer. And I've watched a lot of Westerns. I used and the thing about Westerns is no, not Melvin. That's not correct. And Timothy, he would make a great T. See, Timothy for in Midnight. And then of course there needs to be a bad guy that gets Samaria somehow. I think I might even have a title to the story called "Take Another Step." The saying is "Take another step, I'll shoot you dead." Set in I will tell you this: set in a saloon. You know, um, I don't know what's happening with Bronze Star because I haven't read it. I would actually like to read it. As I would like to read most of what Mike Barron's been doing recently. Sorry, Mike. I'm just on a limited budget. If I didn't have to try and create my comic empire, I could back more. And then it seems like I've not had luck with my backing anyway of late. I should probably at this point ask for a refund for that one creator. There's no excuse. I'm kind of peeved about that. I need some genius like you, Gable, that knows just a little bit about computers, just a little bit, and point me in the right direction. I've asked our friend down in Australia, but he doesn't know that much about Indiegogo. And I'm not saying you do, but you may be able to point me in the right direction of getting my old history. Maybe I have two accounts. That is a possibility. But there ought to be a way to find out so I can get my stuff, my Cyberfrog stuff. And when Pineapple Perception, when and if it does show up, I back that very heavily. And I want to make sure I get that stuff. Hundreds of dollars heavily on that. And that was because it was being recommended. So we all kind of felt for some recommendations in the early days. History of what? My backer history. It only goes up so far. Like it should go back all the way to 2022, and yet it does not. Might be a different account. Don't know how that happened. I still have not got my Salamandroid PVC figure with the 7-inch tail. I think there was a couple J. Lee covers. I got the bulk of what I ordered that was more recent, but the older stuff that I backed when I first backed, like the first Lost Pages and, when CG was really rolling, and Pineapple Perception and Fragga was brand new. and was trying just to get to 100,000. You know, he was like stuck at like 50 something forever. It's amazing the Pineapple Perception that he worked it as hard as he did and got it over $200,000. And now, you know, that's all I'll say about that, you know, because there are people that I know that are friends with Fraga, and, you know, I try not to, as long as I get it, you know, even if it takes 3 or 4 years, I mean, you know, I mean, I'm not a hard person to get along with, you know. Quicker's better, of course. Mine goes back to 2014, laugh out loud. Well, so, like, that's what I'm saying. You're more tech savvy than I am. I'm amazed that I can do this and turn my computer on every day, which I don't. Keep it running, as you well know. You should have. Do you have multiple accounts? That's what I'm saying. I might. Fraga is my biggest disappointment. I think that's probably with a lot of people, and it's sad. You know, he would cite, you know, I moved during that time, I got flooded during that time, I got had health issues, and that all might be true. And he's got a very meticulous artist style on that. I think you have to make it a priority. Backers, you know, and promotionalist, whatever you want to say. Um, check out something here. Look at that dust. No, actually, well, it does have dust on it, but uh, it's not as bad as what I thought. Need to Fraga went from saying he's going to draw and ink everything himself to only doing roughs. Oh, wow. So, does that mean some of the stuff will be drawn and inked by him, and then there'll be a shift in inkers and even artists? I think at this point he just wants to get out of the door so that people don't call him a deadbeat. I know that's what I would be, and that, you know, people are going to say what they're going to say. But you definitely need to deliver. I mean, if you think about that, he shut down the campaign that had the T-shirt, the bundle that had the, which I bought and was going to buy another one, but he shut it down because he, you know, oh, I got to get this out the door. I got to get final numbers on it and everything. And we're still waiting. He could have left that up there. That was with shot glasses, T-shirt, books. I don't know what all was in there. It's been so long ago. I don't know, but I bought one of those. That tier was like $85. Um, and I was going to buy another one of those for Elsie, but he shut it down. And thankfully, because I'd still be waiting on it, you know, more money invested just waiting. I probably put about $400 or $500 into Fraga's Pineapple Perception, and I'm not overly excited about the book. It's just I wanted to support, you know, a new creator. Enjoyed his couch doodles as he when he was doing that. That's kind of where I met Jason, seeing him and Luke on that in the early days, um, which has probably been the most lasting thing that he's done. Is kind of uh, you know, brought Jason Bascom to my attention, and Luke, and been on topic lists all these years with them. Um, hey, Shadowhawk, hope you're having a great day at work. I know it's work. No need to comment. Uh, I know he's not numbering, but we're on episode 952 today. Monday, we'll be back over on my channel um, doing the 4 o'clock shadow for a bit longer. And we've got our first guest we've got lined up. The next person to come in will be over on Shadowhawks this Saturday. Um, and that will be Patrick Quinlan talking about phenomenal tales, Minotaur. Um, I've talked to Patrick before, I believe, over on Apex After Dark with Apex. I co-host with Apex Comics some Saturdays. Been doing that for almost 3 years now. Um, and then on Saturday on this channel, we'll have Godfoe on talking about their new project more detail. They talked about it a little bit last time they were on. They've got a timeline of when this stuff's coming out, so they just keep churning it up. Um, but I'm going to get back to working on whatever I'm working on. I'm going to maybe set my midnight sort of reveal in visuals to kind of be thinking about that. Um, Probably best thing is just to discuss it and roll it around with Jay Kreger. Um, it will take a substantial amount next year to do that, to present a pretty good size, depending on how you can condense it. There's different ways you can do it. Um, I want to cutaway scenes, back and forth. But uh, a 10-page story could cost you over $2,000, with a good artist, easy. Um, it's something I don't want to draw myself. Definitely. I mean, I'll be honest. Women are my weak point. Now, give me a decade. I'm working on it. I did last night. Did one head sketch. Where is it? Of one of my female characters. I had something to go by. Old artwork to go by on that. No, I've got everything out of order here. It's probably not even in the stack. It may be right over there. There's one I kind of added some coloring to. Checking out those markers. I kind of like this. I don't know what to do down here, so I'm just kind of stopped there with that. Got to get better organized, and I am working on that. That's what I'm going to be working on for the next couple months. Finding some scripts, getting them to Keith Gleason, refining them. So I will not be finding some stuff that needs to go up on the campaign. I haven't checked my Gmail. I need to check that today. I did talk to the printer about doing the and give me some prices on up to 1,000 Momentum Comics. I don't know what you call them, sketch cards, blanks, sort of like the Alterna blanks. These are blank. I'm being very choosy about what characters I draw now on these. I still got a stack about like that, but I can burn through that stack. So I'm trying to get a variety of characters. Some of them are new characters, but I'm trying to limit that too. I'm trying to the do it in somewhat of an order. I think you'll really dig the bog though. It'll be like toned panels like this. It'll be like actually have a gray tone to the panels. Give it that muddy feel, and look different. Just, did a little oversized one. Kind of gave him the nose ridge, that looks like a skull nose that Swamp Thing kind of gets. Trying to see how the gray toning work, at least with these markers. I don't see that here. I have to look around. Got another large one I'll be working on here pretty soon. Just not seeing it here. But yeah, I've got probably on the supplement will be a bog wraparound cover done by me. It'll be a photograph collage cover. It'll blow your mind if I can do that. I could I could get Russ Leach to do a wraparound cover for me. I think I probably better want to use him on not, blow the wad on just one wraparound cover, but have him do a couple of different covers for me. So we'll see. Giggity. And slow to think today. Hey, it's early. Um, Shigama. It took me a moment to think of the word Shigama. Shigama, everybody. Women are also my weak point. Giggity. Um, yeah, I mean, I did do a Shadow's Kiss head sketch. It's around here somewhere. Kind of unique. Did her head, her her shoulder, one breast, and her hair, her long braid coming around, and that's most of the card. It's still a head. It's a smaller head with her hair, you know, sort of different indication of shoulders, and didn't draw the rest of the body, which I could have, but these are head sketches. The hair, it's kind of unique out of all the ones that I've done. Hadn't done that many women. I've done one seer, new character that John's worked on, John Dillard, done a couple seers for me. That's what I really kind of want to get to is short stories. Um, would love to get a short story in there. Maybe I really want to do 2 books. I don't want to sound confusing, but I want to do um maybe we could consider one a supplement to Devil Flyer Zero, but I really want to get to the Future Visions, the Momentum Unleash Future Visions, because I want to introduce a lot of these characters, but I want to introduce them in a different way in a future tense in the future. Now, the death of Silver Boa, as I've said, will not be in our future. It'll be set in 1959. There will be another story after that called Silver Boa 1960. So you've not seen the end of Silver Boa. Um, you know, introduce the character with the death story, the death of Silver Boa. Rex, what shirt is that you are wearing? That's Art T Bear's Inko shirt that he came out with. I have two, one that I wear and one that I put up for collectability. That's good ink, Inko. Um, glad you mentioned that because we will be doing a Shadowhawk t-shirt, uh, and we will be doing a. I like the original design better. The original design did not have the specs or the mustache, which totally changes the character. Sore point. If you want to know about that, that first link that I dropped in the chat was to Omer Glitch's first live stream I was on with Peter DeLuca, and we had a good discussion about comics. It's worth a watch. And other things. Art, comics. If you've not seen, and I really need to finish this and send it to Ethan. Oh, here's that head sketch right there that I was talking about. So there's Shadow Kiss. I don't really do women characters, so it's amazing that you got that much out of me. Um, she's a character, kind of like a whisper type character. Um, yeah, Ethan's birthday card that I started like 3 years ago, I think. Got Bog in that with Zob over his shoulder, which is kind of like a friend, and Cyberfrog there. Cyberfrog wasn't all out there even then when I started that. Um, so I had very limited reference to do Cyberfrog. And there was no way I was going to do a complete Cyberfrog in that small a space. But I'll eventually finish that and give it to him. But I wanted to put a lot of my characters in there, telling him happy birthday. But pretty soon we'll have Devil Flyer t-shirts. Probably put that up on the campaign. If not, we'll go another route. I'm thinking about, and I'll kick it off today. I'm probably going to clean this area, photograph the ash can, the magnets, the everything that you got with the ash can, and put up at least one of the ash cans. I put them up one at a time because I am very limited on it. Only 100 printed. It's still up on Indiegogo. Till I get out of them, I don't see any reason in taking it down. The campaign, I'll leave it up there. Uh, but I'm gonna be producing some trading cards here pretty soon. I'm gonna start with the sketch cards so that I can start. She may have some printed up by next week. She's probably sent me a proof of it, and I just haven't went over to my Gmail to see what she's done. But I'll have some official Momentum sketch cards that I can do original artwork, and then hopefully by when we renew the campaign, I'll have those up and available, and not just the parchment sketch cards that I've worked on, But I'll still have some of these up too. I cut out like 180 or 90 of these, 180 or 190 of these things, and I'm going to use them up eventually. And those, if you do buy one of these, like there was a couple that I sold to Carrie, they'll be sent in a top loader, like Acupad, Peter DeLucas did here, to protect it, because these are, it is parchment paper. But I like the parchment, sepia tone look. Love to see a midnight, wanted poster or something done with that, parchment look in the background. High on Midnight, like no other character. And I know that's one character that I only had to write for because I'm not going to try and draw her. I mean, I might do a head sketch, might attempt a head sketch, of her. The original artwork, I'll probably put that up for sale. I don't know. I've got the modern day mummy artwork as well. Here you got the blue line of George Peter Gaddis, Midnight. Excited about this character. His take on Midnight. And the modern day mummy. It's the way he does it. In just like big pen. A lot of the background, all the background stuff done in the computer, and then the ink version. Then he goes on to coloring. Here's a 4-page spread I started. New villain there. I was going to divide it up into like 4s, someone there, someone here, someone there, and there, divided. But this definitely be putting up, and this will be one of the trading cards that will be printed up here pretty soon. Modern day mummy. Sort of George Peter Gaddis. He's another artist I would have liked to have done more with. But I just didn't have the funds at the time, and he got busy for the rest of this year. So, I got a couple of good pieces out of him. So, there'll be, like I say, and I have female characters. I mean, here's the first thing Doc Blaylock did for me, the Nubian. The Nubian is pictured on the John Dillard cover. Her and Lady of the Night. She's sort of my jungle girl. So, I want romance. Okay, I'll have some romance and sort of like the vampire sub story. But straight romance, okay, I probably won't do a straight romance comic anytime soon, if ever. But other than that, there'll be war, there'll be horror, there'll be any sci-fi, there'll be superhero, there'll be different genres, Western. Working on the Western right now. Maybe that'd be a good, unused bog cover for the back cover. Maybe I'll say this and actually, do this for like when Bog does encounter, because this is like Bog. He traditionally doesn't have a mouth, but this is a combination of Bog with Dirty Joe inhabiting him possessing him, hence the red eyes. You know, I did this not knowing what I was going to do. I just wanted something with a lot of Kirby crackle. So I did it. This actually, with the lines going out here, and I don't know if you can see those sort of connecting with his head, kind of go with the story. He will be meeting Cortex. Bog's a living plant, so he's not going to be like easily possessed, you know, or taken control of. He will be, he'll play a big part in the vampire story when I get to that. You can see the vampire up on the campaign. Doc Blaylock drew it. Doc Blaylock will be on later today with John's Long Box. Check that out. The link for the Omer Glitch show that we did last night. And that was a fun show. We went for almost 3 hours talking about any number of things, you know. And Peter DeLuca showed off a lot of his stuff. I showed off some of my older collectibles and things around here, and some artwork. So check it out. Omer Garcia, his first live stream. It was a lot of fun. Shadowhawk, sadly, probably sleeping. We missed you, Shadow. I'm going to get back to it. I'm working hard on getting things organized, getting things written up, getting things printed up here pretty soon. I will have in my hand the sketch cards printed up, and we'll start to work on some of those. Once I get those in hand, I told her price me out about 250, 500, 1,000 of them, because I'll be using those. And then, of course, probably the next thing I will get her on is no promises there. I'm definitely going to have her printing up some trading cards. The local printer here that did the ash can will be doing the Bog supplement. They'll be doing the Bog supplement. They'll be printing it here locally. The Devil Flyer magazine, I'm going with another printer for that. The hardback edition may be printed in Nashville. You know, I don't want to say we're a long way away from that. We just need to raise some funds, you know, renew the campaign, raise some more funds so that we can move forward and conclude the deal and get it out to people. Thank you for dropping that, Caleb. Appreciate that. His very first live stream, and we went almost 3 hours. It was great. It was a great time. It was a great time. Had an active chat. It was a good first stream, you know. Intro is like 10 minutes long, so if you want to watch that, you can. If you want to skip to that, to where we come on, you know, and then his outro was a long outro. But, you know, to each his own. It was a lot of fun. I know he had some Trump stuff there toward the end on the outro, which was kind of funny. Yes, check out my campaign over on Fund My Comic. We're still looking at, I haven't renewed it, but 62 backers, $3,617. Frankly, I need some more funds, you know, to do some more stuff with. We're right on the verge of starting to print some stuff. I'll be getting some unemployment checks here, and that will be going to um, that will be going to getting every penny I have that I don't have to spend on food, medicine, or something, and I'm stocked up. I mean, I'm fine. I do need to write down my not this Friday, but next Friday is our company party, you know, on the 13th. So I need to put that on the calendar. Happy belated birthday. Yesterday was Caroline's birthday. She's been playing video games, you know, and kind of taking a break from all the CG drama and stuff. I don't know. What's your opinion? Leave a comment. You know, has CG drama hurt hurt the independent comic movement that's kind of going on, or has it helped? I think it's kind of a little give and take, a little bit of both, maybe. Um, my, I think a lot of people opt out of the drama. I know I do. Um, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't want to be. I don't want to build this channel on drama. I want to build it on entertainment and good content. Um, it's empowered a lot of indie creators to create, which is good. Yes, give or take. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Um, um, yeah, I think it, it got me, showed me a way to do what I've wanted to do for a lifetime, which was, especially after the spinner rack died, and even with the spinner rack, I mean, it's a daunting task, but this was an accessible thing that after doing, selling stuff person to person on eBay and even meeting some famous creators like Bill Black from AC Comics and Paragon, and Bob Badansky that drew, among other things, um, Ghost Rider, and the creator of Zippy the Pinhead, an underground comic. Meeting people like that even on eBay and corresponding through eBay with them, and the grandson of Dick Dillon, the great Justice League of America artist. um, you know, after having many thousands of sales of on eBay for almost 20 years and dealing directly with the public about with Pez, diecast comics, original artwork, production artwork, you name it. If it's collectible, I've probably been at it at one time. And then seeing the crowdfunding, which I didn't even know was here, and just easing into the YouTube thing and seeing a pathway, it's like, wow, okay, I see this as a viable option, to get it out. And sure enough, I can hold my ash can in my hand, and believe me, I can't wait to get my devil flyer in my hand so that I can do conventions. And once you got product in hand, hey, you can sell it. Once you got it in hand, it can send it out. That's why I'm disappointed in my last book that I backed. That's been printed up, came on this show, touted the book, sold me on it. I backed it. I don't back very many people. I've been waiting since mid-September for it. It's already printed up. You can't find the time to slip it in the mail. Come on. I hate to beat up on the guy, but I don't want to tell you what book that is. Privately, I might DM you if you really want to know. But come on, man. Really? If you already got it printed out, send it out. I sent you the money for it. Oh, you spent the money. Obviously not on shipping. Just a thing is kayfabe, then I'm okay with it. Bro, I got like 3 to 4 right. I got hundreds in, fell through. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I've not had that many fall through. And when I first started backing, I backed some very small campaigns and even non-CG campaigns. Um, and but I've rarely got burned, you know. But I would like to get all my Cyberfrog stuff and clear that slate. Somebody knows a technical person that can help me, please. I've got some files that I need saved that need to go to the printer, you know, to help get this book printed. I just need a little technical help. Ray Haylock's helped me some. He doesn't know that much, and he's busy with, frankly, some accounts that keep his doors open, that are much bigger. He just does that for the fun of it. So I kind of hate to bend his ear a lot on this stuff that, is important to me, but he's not really getting anything out. Want to know where Crystal's book is? They had graded copies shown. I'm not sure what project that is. hit me up in the DMs, Rex. I can try to help. Thanks, Gable. I'd appreciate any help. Apex Comics in the house. Go check out Fembat. Let's check in with Fembat before we get out of here, and see where it's at. It's nearly funded at $1,000. If we haven't hit the mark already, he's darn close. Apex, I apologize. I haven't backed it yet. I do plan to back. 21 backers, $977. He's almost funded at $1,000. 98% there. 161 days to go. I'll just have to come up with some moolah before I back Apex. Sorry about the delay on that. But we'll get there, bro. We'll get you funded. I'm sure you're not worried at this point. But, every dollar counts. I'm probably the only person who's actually read it, an early advance copy here, because Fembat will be making a cameo appearance. That Rob Ewing will be drawing those pages. She'll be pictured with a lot of momentum characters making their first appearance. You want first appearances, you're going to get, I think you got like maybe 17. It might have been less than that. First appearances in the Ash Can. You're going to get way more in this Devil Flyer prequel. And, first appearances drive collectability. And that's my promise with every momentum. It does have a wraparound cover option. What was that saying? Fembat link there, dropped in the chat. Fembat cameo. We're hoping to do a Devil Flyer versus Fembat story. Like I said, I've got a sub story that we'll be developing. That's a vampire sort of sub story. Of course, the main story is going to be like the Faustian deal with Devil Flyer, and that for every sort of good thing he does, he has to sort of remove a firewall which is going to unleash Armageddon on the world. And he's got to kind of like meet these different heroes like Bog and Enderman and Sea Demon and Midnight, even characters out of time, and some villains, because some villains are going to sort of storm this hellish realm in the final battle. We're a long way from getting there, but there'll be sub stories along the way, and one that I have, and you won't see it coming. The comic reveal about who the vampire is. You won't see it coming. It'll be like, I didn't see that coming. That's neat. And I'm hard to keep secrets with, but maybe you'll guess it, maybe you won't. But yeah, I'll give this some more thought about the Midnight thing, because I'm very hot on making this I don't think by and large, that I'm that interested or have ever been that interested in Western characters. I think I could write a very good Western. In fact, like I say, I'm going to write a big, thick pulp. So I'm going to be writing a lot of Western material. And I have to gin up the interest for me. I like that she definitely adds something, a Western theme to the Momentum universe. That's why I was like, with Bog's origin, and I've had different origin scenarios for Bog in mind for a while, for years. But I went with a Celtic sort of sword in hand, barbarian type origin for him, which Rob Ewing did 3 pages for, and we'll be doing some more. And I will interlace that in with my story, my short story. How short? Don't know. You got 3 pages already done by Rob, and I'm working on putting together the story leading up to telling that, and that will be with Cortex. Everybody that backs the Bog supplementary, I don't want this Bog supplementary to delay the Devil Flyer book that much. I've still got other stuff going on that's to be done. It's not delaying the book. It's just like, in the meantime, what am I doing artistically? You know, um, it's not like a paid gig. Rob will get some more work out of it, but he was going to get that anyway. And I'm just upping the origin and putting it all in one book, instead of it being part of it putting in the prequel and part of it in the zero. It'll just be put in the supplement now, along with my story and my artwork. So good blend of my artwork and Rob's together in one book. You'll get a free 6 a.m. Cortex sticker with the book. You'll get the last stretch go, I think, will be the Bog sticker, the 6 a.m. Bog sticker. So you'll get the two principal characters in my story, which is going to be the introduction of Cortex. I don't even think he was in the ash can, was he? He didn't even make the ash can. I had limited space in the ash can. So this will be like the first appearance of Cortex in a story. He will be making a cameo appearance, as well as most of the main principal characters, everything I can squeeze in there. And Rob Ewing, I've got him slated to draw those pages. He's got a bunch of them already drawn. He's got like 12 characters, I think, drawn already that can be fit into that page already. And we will do the character sheets. I'll just give you the first one free, which will probably be Devil Flyer, and could be Bog, or no, probably Cortex and Bog. We'll do Cortex and Bog, like Iron Shadowhawk we're talking about the other day, for the first a binder character sheets. And then on the next campaign, on the Devil Flyer Zero issue, we'll do Devil Flyer and the Armored Devil Flyer, which they're going to fight in that. But he has to get past Smolder first, which is a giant kaiju character. So the giant battle that Devil Flyer really unleashing some of his power, you don't really get to see in the prequel. He just kind of fights the mob, Cy Marco, crime family in this story. But you'll get to see him definitely. It sets up where he's going to encounter Smolder and has to dispatch him and go on to fight, and encounters a machination sent by the Dark Lord himself, the director, which is mentioned in the prequel in 2 stories at least, and maybe in the bystander story as well. He's mentioned in the Devil Flyer story a couple of times, and he's mentioned in the 2-page Inner Man story that John Dillard will be doing shortly. So, when is Devil Flyer #1 coming out? Apex with the same question, damn time. Which makes me want to say never, after Zero issue. Okay. We're doing the prequel. We're doing the Zero issue, which is already, Dionysus is working on the 3rd page of that. So we've got to start on that, and we have a direction of that. I'm working out what stories will be in the Zero issues, and then we'll go to a Devil Flyer 1 issue. Once I pull the trigger on the 1 issue, then the countdown begins. Baby steps. We'll see how Zero does, and then we'll go on to one. I hate to long roll this, but we have to kind of build our base, you know, and get some funds in. Um, Always we'll have a great selection of artists working on different stories because I want a good mix of characters. Can't tell you when the Midnight Pulp will come out because that thing's going to be thick. And like I say, the drawing characters have to be written in. They'll get a whole chapter. I don't think anybody's attempting to do that, you know, type of thing. Trying to be different. Um, this is something just kind of, I really want the Momentum Unleashed to come out with that. So there probably won't be a supplement like there is this time. There'll be just but now that we're getting some bog stuff out of the way, that leaves room for further bog stories as well. If there's enough demand for bog 1 or a bog 0 issue, if there's enough demand for it, we'll definitely do it. And I'm ramping up the bog stuff already with telling his origin, telling, his first encounter, and you get a grave tale. So, really you're getting 2 bog stories. You're actually kind of getting 2 stories, but you're getting his origin rolled in there as well. So, you're getting more bog. You wanted more bog, I'll give you more bog, and it's not going to really cost me any more time because the prequel is still being worked on. And I have time to work on some side stuff, or the 0 issue or the Momentum Unleashed issue, which I already have 3 stories solidified for that, and actually had Vic working on the Death of Silver Boa, but that didn't work out. So somebody also had to do that story. Excited to get to that story. Devil Flyer 1 coming out in 2028 on Fund My Comic. Well, it might be if the money's not there, but I doubt it'll take that long. Okay. I'll try and beat that for sure. I think last time you said 2025 or 2026. So you're getting longer and longer with it. I don't know what it is about number 1 issues. In the ash can, you got so many first appearances. In this prequel, you'll get so many first appearances. That is my promise. What I was saying is that in every Momentum comic, there will be at least 1 first appearance of something. It might be the first appearance of the Baxter building or the Pogo plane, and not necessarily a character, but you'll get, right now, I've got a lot of characters. So you're going to see a lot. If you don't get this prequel, you won't get the first appearances of dozens. As many as I can get Rob Ewing to put in, and as many as we can pack in different characters into the, without it being glutted, But we are going to do a 2-page obligatory, sort of like 3 columns of characters, villains, heroes, creatures, aliens, whatever, of different characters that I've created in there, together in like pinup form, but telling a story narrated by the bystander to show you the greater Momentum verse. Because it's not just about Devil Flyer. It's not about Bog. It's not about Innerman or Sea Demon. It's about a whole universe of characters. Western, war, all these genres. The very best of comics, Momentum Comics. So, yeah, am I biting off a lot? Yeah, but I've got a lot to offer. I've got decades and decades. Some of these characters go all the way back to the 70s. Finbat Tentacle Girl versus the Groovy Ghost. Oh, wow. I have a Tentacle Girl, Finbat, and Devil Flyer post pinup that Apex did. Groovy Ghost. Never heard of Groovy Ghost. But yeah, there you go. It has a Scooby-Doo vibe to it. She is a go-go dancer from the 60s. Finbat, definitely Gable. Help him out. Somebody help Apex get his trailer that he paid good money for from Good Stuff, and Good Stuff did a great trailer. Get him, help him get that up on his campaign. I do think it will help his campaign. The bystander stand should be terrific. I think so too. It's going to add that sort of Jim Starlin cosmic, and then I'm and in this process, I've had John Dillard do another cosmic character of mine, uh, um, the Seer, another female character that I've, uh, you know, she was really the last character that I really solidified and created. Um, Reach out, boys. Let indie comics, yeah, make indie comics great again. Yeah, I think no pun intended, but I think all the momentum and all the really strength in comics, there may be a good project here or there, Batman Absolute, blah, 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 whatever, here or there. But I think minus the drama, when you cut away all the fat and all that, when you get down to the core of it, I think indie comics is a real strength in comics, and maybe the future of comics, and maybe should have always been the future of comics, you know, and maybe always was till it went corporate, you know. DC was cool till it really got cool, and Marvel was cool when it was sort of the outlander to DC, and then got cool in the 60s. Uh, That doesn't mean they didn't do, uh, but they were the mainstay. Uh, Image was cool till it became corporate. Dark Horse was kind of cool as it was kind of the new kid on the block. That's kind of, you know, and then some people lose interest. But now I don't think it has to be that way. I think you can still have that cool factor, even if you are mainstream and selling millions of copies. I think you could still have that edge. Maybe it's not possible, you know. I think people just get lackadaisical, or maybe they certainly, if you gave me $1 million, I could turn out anything I want. But still, I think with my mind, I still want it to be good, and I still want it to be meticulous. And if that takes a little bit of time to give you the very best that I can give you, if you look at this and you look at my very best and it's somewhat lacking, it's going to disappoint me, and chances are it's going to disappoint you. There does come a time, with that said, there does come a time that you have to cut it off and get it out to the people. I had to do that with my ash can, and there was a little bit of cleanup on that could have been done. And my faith in artists that didn't come through for me like they should have was on me. Not necessarily on them, it was on me primarily. And the product suffered a little bit for it, you know. We cleaned it up as best as we could, but if given a little bit more time, and if I wasn't feeling the pressure that it was already, still we got it in under a year. I'm hoping to get Devil Flower in under a year. I'm not overly optimistic, but it could be doable. It could be. The artists that have to work on things, I think, are fairly quickly. There is a lot of lettering to be done. There is some spot coloring to be done. Um, So, we'll put up some t-shirts. We'll put up some original artwork. I think we will get some additional funds. We'll put up the bog supplement. We'll get up enough artwork to intrigue people about that. I guarantee you the cover alone will be cool. I just have to figure out, this thing's going to be weighty. This is going to be a collage that I'm going to do, a wraparound cover. At least that's the plans right now. I could hire it out very easily and have Russ just use what, payment hasn't been made to him, but we've already agreed on payment for a couple covers. If I had the money, I could have a Russ Leach story. He's not beyond affordability of doing a story. And at some point, I would like to have Russ Leach do me a story, some short story, whatever. But 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 1,000 here, 1,000 there, it adds up. I need your money, to produce neat stuff for you. And I will produce neat stuff, and we will not serve any wine before it's time, as the old adage says. It has to be, um, the right bouquet. It has to have the right taste. You know, I'm not overly anal about this. We're 10 months. We're just a few days over 10 months into this, and that was during the campaign when it was campaigning. And I still had artists working on stuff, and I was still working stuff out and working on things even as I was promoting I was there for a good 10 months or a month and a half. I was promoting very heavily. And maybe not as heavily as I needed to. But you know, I'm sure I didn't hit every channel that there was, but very few. But yeah, man, promoting that book and getting out and people letting them know that it was out, and yeah, that took up a lot of time. Be proactive and get stuff done, gentlemen. Don't let the day slip by. Actually, that's right. So that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go work on uh, what needs to be worked on to get this in your hands. When I get this in my hands, extra copies in my hands, then I can put them up on eBay and be making sales there. I'm not doing the EVS thing. I've just always done eBay, you know, um, and I don't know if it'll sell over there or not. I know this, that if we do this as a stretch goal, I'll check into this. Um, I would like to do all my characters or at least some of the main characters as Pez dispensers. You can custom make, you know, have them make your, I don't know what a minimum order is, but I guarantee if it was like 2,000, 3,000, I could sell them on eBay eventually, as long as it's not a, you know, fake custom made, as long as it's an official Pez. Pez collector's a bomb. And I've got neat looking characters. I think I do. You know, not being too humble with that, but I think, you know, I'm not trying to do derivative characters, um, overly derivative characters. You know, when I sit down to create a new character, there might be influences, um, but you're you're seeing, when you see my characters, it's primarily from my imagination, you know, and sometimes it just blinks and I'm like, oh, ooh, that's neat. You know, that's the way a lot of my most recent characters in the last year. And I don't know why, but they're all dressed in black. Think about TM. He's all black costume. Um, I know that George Peter Gaddis didn't depict her in all black, but really Midnight, all black costume. It seems like all my characters recently have been dressed in all black. I don't know why, but that's the way it comes to me, and that's the way it, you know, it looks pretty cool. Don't make awesome characters, Rex. Make them cool. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing, and frankly, I don't care. You know, I don't want to do Omar over. We talked about this on the Omar glitch uh, live stream, like Clint Helinsky doing a lot of homage covers. We took a burst through cover from an old Adam that I had right down here when John kind of put me on the spot and said, what would you consider an epic cover? You know, and burst through covers was on my short list anyway, and that was a great Gil Kane. But you look at that cover with all the 14 characters on it, him not just bursting through, but burning through the cover. We came up with a great cover, but you can't point to any one comic. If I showed you the comic, the Atom comic, you go, okay, I can see sort of the outline. You know, that kind of gave him a basis of what I was talking about. But other than that, it has nothing other to do with that cover of homaging that cover. We made a unique cover with sort of a tried and true thing of him bursting through the cover, which I think for, you know, the debut of a character like this is you know, spot on. Apparently a lot of you think that because we sold over 35 copies of it on the campaign. I think it's an awesome cover. You get to see a little bit, a glimpse, 14 characters total of the Momentum universe. There'll be much more than that in the book. You don't pick up this book, you don't know a good collectible when you see it. It'll be very limited on run, maybe, 100 copies, like the ash can. That's very limited. Very limited. Do I wish it was 100,000 copies? Sure. But if I had to sacrifice quality, forget it. I'm going with 100 copies. I will not bastardize myself and just put out product to be putting out product. There's others, creators out there that's put out 3, 4, 5 books while I'm still working on one. But we put out an ash can. We're going to get this out. We're going to get a supplement out with it. That's another book that we tacked on recently. And that baby's going to be, we'll talk about price point. Maybe we'll talk about price point on the 4 o'clock shadow. What's too expensive for a supplement? What's a good price for a supplement? Because I've got a lot of bog stuff. You want to see a lot of bog stuff? I can show you a lot of neat bog images that I've done, from scratch art to, because he was my primary character since 2015. There's been times when I've drawn a lot of bog every day, and there's been a lot of times that I haven't, because I've been working on Devil Fly or other things, but I've gotten back to doing some bog stuff, and we'll be doing more bog stuff now because I'm going to do the supplement. But all depends on page size. Yeah, that'll be it'll be a square bound for sure. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't have to be. But if you want a lot of bog, I'll give you a lot of bog. I've got a lot of bog already ready to print. Most of it's scanned already. And I'll pick the rest and leave the rest. I won't give you substandard stuff. I'll design it nicely. Don't make awesome characters. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it. But if you want a lot of my artwork, I'll give you a lot of my bog artwork, But yeah, you got to look at price point and size. It could wind up easily being just as big as the Devil Fly prequel magazine, or even bigger. I wouldn't mind to do a square bound. I don't know if the local printer does a square bound or not. They probably could. I'll have to ask them about that. That would be the only, because I do plan on getting it printed over there. I think for the supplement, they'll do a good job. And they've got most of that stuff scanned in already. Not everything, especially a lot of the newer work, but I'll get that to them to scan, and it'll make the book. If there's demand for it, I'll produce it. Like you said, Gable, give people what they want. Now, are we to the point where we can do a bog monthly like you want? No. But I'm not opposed to that. If I had the funds, I could rotate out artists. Of course, I can't just, just churn these stories out either, and feel good about it. I wouldn't want to do a monthly, to tell you the truth. A quarterly, I could see doing. I can't even see doing a bi-monthly. I mean, I could if that was all I was focused on. But there's a lot of directions I want to go with these characters. I want to go in the future. I want to show you Bog 250 years in the future in Momentum Unleashed Future Visions. I want to show standard looks 250 years in the future. I want to introduce you to a character that was born in the future, a female character that is unique to that time. I want to show you Storm Rider, what he looks like 250 years in the future, that these characters are still alive and what they look like. Bog looking ode, Storm Riker looking ode. Uh, Basically, bystanders slow aging. I won't call him immortal, but he's slow aging. So you won't tell any difference in that character. And I've already got John Dillard drew one of the bystanders that he did is linked to that. So I've already got a start on that one drawing done by John Dillard for the, and I would like John to draw that particular story because I think he would do a good job. It needs a top rate artist on it. Work time. Have a great day, boys. Okay. Well, if Gable leaves, I'm leaving too. This is the Irish long goodbye, and I think there's a little bit of Irish in my background. I really need to get that DNA thing done. Need to go call my sister too. I hadn't talked to her in a few days. Um, anyway, keep collecting. We'll see you again on the 4 o'clock shadow. 8:30, too early in the morning. Jeez, been going almost 2.5 hours. That's awesome. I love doing this. I love talking Momentum Universe. I think it gets you churned up. I know it gets me. I know it gets my juices flowing, even before breakfast. Again, happy belated birthday, KT. We will see you later. I just have to hit the end button. Where's the end button? Here's the end button. Ciao for now.